The kettlebell swing is one of the most beneficial exercises you can possibly do, whether it's in a gym setting or whether it's out in the world. Oftentimes when people are newer to kettlebell swings, they report discomfort in their lower back. Let's talk about the problem, and then let's talk about solutions to that problem. The kettlebell swing does something better than everything else. It's portable. Barbells are your best piece of equipment for building absolute strength. The problem with them is that they're super heavy. You can't take them out in the world with you. And if you do them wrong, you tend to get really, really hurt. Kettlebell swings tend to be easier on people and on athletes. And because they're portable, they're small enough that you can put them in the back of a car. You can take them with you so that you can stay consistent in your training. Kettlebell swings tend to be done 2 to 3 days a week for normal athletes. All that can change, of course, if you're fancy. But let's review the technique first. It is in the deadlift family of movements. Start with our feet pointed straight ahead. Step back 12 to 18 inches from the bell. Our goal is to keep our heels flat on the ground, and we're going to turn this into an endurance hip snap. Just like it's a barbell, push your hips back. Crown to coccyx alignment is good and strong. Engage your core. When we reach out, drive your shoulder away from your ear to engage the lat. That stays on the entire time. We're gonna hike the weight back and then snap up with our hips. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Set it down with good technique. Most people get hurt because they drop the weight at the end and they don't set it down with good technique on the last rep. You're not done till you're done. People tend to have back pain with this exercise because they are not straightening out their legs all the way, because they sit in office chairs or they sit in cars to drive. Their legs stay slightly bent at the top and they are not engaging their glutes. Your glutes are big muscles and they should be very, very, very firm. If your glutes are not very, very firm, then you probably have low back pain anyway. Something like 70% of the modern population has persistent back pain. It's there every day and it doesn't go away. That has a lot to do with our glutes. The kettlebell swing is designed to engage your glutes. When you go back and you stand up, your glutes are the main driver, if you want to think of it that way. Problem is, most people aren't finishing. They're getting to here instead of to here. So their glutes aren't fully firing. So the muscles around the glutes take over, the lower back. That's where the lower back discomfort comes from. People are overstressing it by not engaging the glutes enough. The solution is to stand all the way up. That sounds like an easy solution. It is not, especially if you've spent years sitting in an office chair or years driving a truck or a tractor. You adapt to whatever position you do the most. So if you sit down for 8 hours a day, your body tries to stay in the sitting position. This has to do with our hip bowl. What we are trying to do is take the belt line of our pants and make it level by squeezing our glutes underneath. Sounds easy, is not easy for at least 70 to 80% of the population. Let's talk about an exercise you can do to warm up. Before you do the kettlebell swing, you can do a shoulder bridge so you can try to isolate the glute itself. 3 sets of 10. Get down on the ground, feet shoulder width apart, pointed straight ahead, heels on the ground. Hands down to the side. That's not the important part. Some people will, in the beginning, put their hands in front of them to hold them to help close the loop with their brain. The goal is to tuck the tailbone, lift it straight up. Once again, people will have the same problem. They will be in a hip dip here. This will allow people to try to close the loop between their shoulders and their feet to drive their hips up further. Don't lift the rib cage, keep the rib cage down. If you feel a stretch in the top of the hips, you're doing it right. Get down, drive up, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Give yourself a tap on the glutes. If they are engaged, you're doing it right. Our goal with this is probably to start with 3 sets of 10 to 3 sets of 20. Give your body a chance to engage the glutes before you go into the swings. That is solution one. Solution two is to jump from the swing program to another program that forces you to straighten out your legs and stand up more. The traditional solution is to do swings and Turkish get up together. We find that in the modern world, people tend not to do the Turkish get up because it's scary and it's complex. So the solution has become alternate your swing program day with a standing clean and press day, because the clean and press day forces you to stand all the way up. It encourages you to stand up. When you start with a lightweight, you can still do it wrong. As you go through a program and you go to a heavyweight, you are encouraged to stand up better. Tuck your tailbones underneath and drive your hips forward while straightening your legs, standing up. If people's hamstrings are short, their calves are tight, their glutes are off, then they stay here. They're not getting all the way up. The solution is to add that stopping point here and then extend your arm overhead. It's very hard to duck when you go into the overhead extension. Adding this stop point here encourages people to drive their hip forward. When they add the overhead extension, it encourages them to drive their hip forward and straighten their leg. Bring it down, there's another pause. Every one of these pauses is an opportunity to drive the hips forward to stand up better. Solution one is our warm-up. It's the warm-up with our shoulder bridge for sets of 10 to 20, at least 3 sets to engage the glutes. Solution two is to cross-train with a kettlebell clean and press, because the stops force you to stand up more. That removes people's ability to duck, we call it ducking, their tailbone. The goal is to get the glutes to engage so you can take the stress away from the lower back. Another solution is to rotate 90 degrees to the problem. When people are ducked, we want neutral spine. We don't want it overly tucked with knees bent. We want perfectly straight legs, hip bowl level. We're avoiding the ducking position, this extension of the lower spine. In order to do that, we would use a heavy club. Inside circles and outside circles. Let's do the two-hand variation. We define heavy club swinging by the top hand, just like it's long sword if you watch Lord of the Rings. Top hand is the most important hand. Feet are pointed straight ahead. It's still in the deadlift family of movement. Rotate, sit in the back leg. 4 cues: push, swing, pull, catch. Rotate back to center, stand all the way up like the top of a swing. We're leaving the swing, rotating 90 degrees, forcing the core to engage in a different direction, but still in a standing deadlift base. And we would do these exercises for probably sets of 5, start with a lightweight, build up to a heavyweight. Of course, we would do both directions, because usually one glute works better than the other, because most people have a dominant hand and a dominant foot. Normally people, if they're right-handed, have a dominant leg that's their left leg. So one side of the spine works better, one side of the glute works better. We work on the warm-up, engage the glutes in the warm-up, level the pelvic bowl. 2 solutions for weight training: alternate your swing program day with a clean and press day, or alternate it with a heavy club inside circle, outside circle day. And now let's talk about cool down. If the muscles are too short, then we need to make them long. That means we need to hold a stretch for 2 to 3 minutes. This is the one that people are unwilling to do because it sucks, especially if you've been sitting in an office chair for 10 years. This one is the one that sucks the most. It's the easiest, but nobody wants to do it. Point your feet straight ahead, just like you're in the swing. And it's very simple. Point the tailbone back, hang down. The goal here is to be able to do this for at least 2 minutes. We really want you to get to at least 3 minutes. 3 minutes. We want you to get to 3 minutes. When you do this, you will feel it move every, let's say, 60 seconds. You will feel it wherever you need to feel it, but your lower back, your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves are all connected. The reason the kettlebell swing is so good is because it stresses all those muscles equally. That's why the kettlebell swing has a very pronounced effect on people in the least amount of time because it affects their structure, how all the muscles interact, their breathing, and a fundamental movement pattern, the hip snap, the same movement you do in the gym with a deadlift. When you hold for 2 minutes, you will feel it in the low back. Then it will move to the glutes. It will move to whatever the tightest part is. We would also like to combine that with an extension of the spine. Do these two movements together. You have your forward fold, and then you have this very simple, we call it Sphinx, which is extension of the spine. Hips down. This is a subtle stretch for the front of the hip and for the lower back. Same thing here. 2 minutes to 3 minutes is key. If you don't hold for 2 to 3 minutes, then you're not going to get the benefit you look for. Pain is a signal that something in your body's movement system is off. Your body is structure, it's breathing, and it's movement. The structure is the skeleton, how everything stacks up. Remove the idea of training in isolation, especially if you're deconditioned. If you are deconditioned, we don't just want to train muscles. It's not chest day, it's not arm day, it's movement day. Instead of legs, it's deck squat. Instead of legs, it's kettlebell swing. On shoulder day, it's clean and press. On ab day, it's get up. Think about replacing the concept of training, of just muscle training in the gym, and integrating the idea of movements. If you move better, you feel better. If you move better, everything in life gets easier.